Now we're going to be talking about creating urgency and overcoming buyer reluctance. And we have the amazing Mabel and Liliana, who are going to speak to us today about that. They're also going to be joining us a little bit later today, because if you speak Spanish, you can hear this all in Spanish later. So we're really trying to make sure we spend a lot of time supporting that community and making sure they get the love that they deserve, because there's not always a lot of resources out for that community, and we want to make sure it's there. So if you guys could please come on and support them if you speak Spanish later, or if you know somebody that would benefit from it, please reach out and invite them. Even if they're not with Keller Williams, it's an opportunity right there for you to go ahead and try and add to your downline by reaching out and supporting them and just giving them some love. So they'll be doing that today at 3 o'clock. But right now, I'm turning it over to you, beautiful ladies, as you get to go ahead and speak about buyer reluctance.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Coach Liliana Pickens. I am based out of Central Florida in Orlando. And here's Coach Mabel.
And I am based out of Bonita Springs.
And oddly enough, we are together today. This doesn't happen often. Nope. We're usually into different screens. So today we're going to talk a little bit about overcoming buyer reluctance. I am sure we are not the only ones hearing things like, but the interest rates are so high and the prices are so high, and I'm going to wait until the market crashes. Are we the only ones hearing this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not, right?
Correct.
So tell me, Mabel, what's going on?
Well, when the interest rates hiked up, of course, a lot of the buyers were completely priced out of the market. So they weren't able to then turn around and purchase due to, of course, it being higher than what they can really afford for when it came to payments. And so we started to hear all of those buyers just stating, even the ones that could continue to purchase on, just stating that we're bowing out. They're just going to wait until the interest rate changes. But the buyer reluctance tactic on the shift book is tactic number 9, and it starts at page 167. If you guys have your book with you,
as you should,
as you should, exactly. That's the Bible. And it's really, I mean, when you're looking at it, Gary talks about on that very first page, 167, on the second paragraph, he talks about the irony of the market.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about the irony, because most of the markets are still thinking that you guys are not in a shift. Everybody keeps telling me, oh, we're not in a shift yet. We're headed to a shift. Yeah, we passed that shift.
Like 9 weeks ago.
9 weeks ago.
It was 9 weeks ago. Specifically,
yeah.
9 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of it right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're in the middle of it. Gary says that Gary says that a shift typically lasts anywhere between 8 months to 18 months. And he is also stating that right now, you guys should be focusing on the long haul and for the 18 months is what he's saying.
And, you know, going back to the market that we just came from, right? We came from a market that buyers were not only ready, willing, and able, they were insanely buying homes in real estate. They were paying $20,000, $40,000. I have a referral agent in California who kept telling me, I keep getting $1 million over list price. Insane, right? Buyers were like making it rain with the money. And then all of a sudden the interest rate go up a little bit and now they're freaking out. But 3 months ago, you were all willing to pay a ton of money, right? And our job as real estate agents is understand what they are seeing. Interest rates are high and prices are high, but help them see what they don't see. Where are the opportunities in today's market, right?
Yep.
And in order to know the opportunities in today's market, we got to know the market. Right? So show of hands or get off mute if you don't know, no shame in your game. This is a no judgment zone. Do you know where to look for the numbers? Do you know what tools to use in order to learn the market? Do you understand? I'm sorry?
The statistics that we got from Florida Realtors.
Yes.
Every single day.
Yep.
Hi, Victor.
Hi, Victor.
Oh, we're so proud of you.
I need to see you get out of my office.
So the statistics come out from the National Association of Realtors and the Florida Association of Realtors website on the third week of every month. All right, on the third week of every month, you got to go to these websites and you got to be like Coach Liliana, obsessed with the numbers, because this is where you start seeing, all right, how many closed sales in the state of Florida as a whole. In June, we had 12% less sales than we did in June of last year. If you went to family reunion with Gary back in February, they were already talking. The National Association of Realtors was already saying that by the time December 31st rolls around, we were going to see a decrease of 10% in sales and an increase of 8% in value.
Yep.
That's not normal. That's not a normal shift. Because when we see the shift, like textbook shift, right? Prices come down when the interest rates come up. Yet we are not in that market.
No.
So but there's still opportunities.
Well, we're technically, and you see how I do this, we're technically not in that market. But we are in a market where we are seeing that there's inventory is increasing. Correct. I mean, who's in Miami-Dade area? Who's in the Miami-Dade market? Unmute yourself and tell me if you by any chance know, as of yesterday, how much inventory you guys currently have. Who knows?
Get off mute. Tell us.
Because I know.
Yeah, I know you know.
That's not even my market.
You guys are currently sitting on 2.3 months worth of inventory. That's 153% increase than last year.
Now, granted, right? Last year was a very low bar when it comes to inventory, right? Because we didn't have a lot of inventory. So anything from this moment on is going to be like this big numbers. Oh my God, there's 143, 129 here in Osceola County % increase, right? On homes. But it's because it was so historically low last year.
Correct.
Right? We also watch price decreases. And that's an interesting metric, because when we first look at price decreases, we forget that most listing agents are putting the listings out there overpriced. So most price decreases out there not necessarily are due to the fact that the houses are losing value. Most price decreases out there are due because they were overpriced and now they're putting it down to where it should be.
But we are noticing that the price decreases that are coming in, for instance, in Osceola County, you guys had 1,000 homes that dropped their price in the last 7 days. I believe Miami had about 800, if I remember correctly. And correction on the percentage of inventory increase. Miami is 43. Naples, Collier County is the one with the 153% increase, which is like, holy moly. But every single county in the South Florida region that I looked up, they all had increases in their inventory.
So let's park there for a little bit, because we understand these numbers. But then the question becomes, how do we present this to our buyers and to our sellers, right? So for the buyers, to the buyers and the sellers and your referral partners, it's important, guys, that you make these little videos to your referral partners about what's up in your county. Buyers have amazing news. There is more inventory in the market. There are more choices for you, and there are less sales. So that means that we're not competing with 15 offers on the table. We're maybe competing with 2 or 3, right?
If that. Yeah.
If that. So it's fantastic news for buyers. So if you guys have buyers that were fatigued last year or earlier this year because the market was just too much for them emotionally, now is the time to be making that call. Hey, I want to let you know that things are changing, and present the opportunities. The opportunity for you, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, today is that we have had 1,137 price decreases in Central Florida in the last 7 days. Do you want me to send you that list? The opportunity is that we have less closings, meaning there's less competition. There are less buyers out there buying because affordability is a real issue in the state of Florida. Correct. Right? I mean, everything is up except salaries. Inflation is up 8.4. Wages are up 6%. It's not tit for tat. Okay.
Correct.
So super duper important to be presenting the opportunities to our people, because we understand, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, that the interest rates you feel are high. However, in 2018 and 2019, when I was putting buyers under contract, I was putting them under contract at 6-7%. And when the interest rates dropped in March of 2020, I was making those calls to my clients, right? Hey, it may be a great time to refinance. So you got to trust that I'm going to call you the moment the interest rates drop so that you save some money, because I am your wealth advisor.
So what you're saying is if we know how to present the facts, we're going to beat the buyer reluctance when it comes to
100%.
right? The prices are too high, or we don't want to compete, because that was one of the main reasons too. We don't want to compete with all of these offers,
Well,
or
that
we
was
don't want to
exhausting.
put in. Well, we don't want to put in extra
Mhm.
money down for it. So that's one of the ways that you would. So what script do you guys have? Because we love scripts.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. So what scripts do you guys have in order to present the facts?
Mhm.
Have you educated yourself with the facts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember that logic makes us think, and emotions make us act.
Mhm.
And they are 100% emotional around this. You got to bring the logic into it, so to help them think a different way, and then they can make the decision based on both the logic and the emotion that they are feeling in the way.
So do we have any questions so far from the audience? Because this is participatory. Right? It's just not us two just up here chit-chatting. We want to make sure that we understand. And if you have questions, we want to make sure that we are answering those questions for you so that you guys can go out there and speak to the buyers to be switching over.
Yes.
So any questions so far?
Just get yourself off mute and talk to us.
What are the scripts that you are talking about in order to today's market, today's shifting market? Do you have a special script for that, or there is something that we can find in the cheat book?
Well, the shift book is full of scripts.
I know.
It is full of scripts. Like I literally just went through the shift book, at the beginning of the year, and just marked script, all the little lines, right, that we can use to communicate with our people. There's also scripts, if you're in the coaching program, you have scripts everywhere. We actually have a book full of shift scripts, both in English and Spanish. Well, the book is in English, but we have some translated into Spanish as well. But the main script, guys, it's the market. That's your number one script. You got to know your numbers, because there is so much misinformation out there, right? There's misinformation from other agents too out there. So you gotta be the economist of choice. And I'm sure that you're hearing, this is the market of the skilled, right? In the last 2 years, businesses have grown organically. Very few agents have grown their business on purpose in the last 2 years. And the one that we're going to be in for the next 9 to 18 months that we're already in, right? You're going to need skill. Yep. And the skill that we're talking about is the market. You got to know your numbers, because if you don't know your numbers, your listing presentation is not going to be up to par. Think about that. Is your listing presentation up to par with the market?
Is your buyer consultation up to par with the market?
Is your buyer consultation up to par with the market? And how are you communicating? That's the best script, the opportunities in the market for your buyer or your seller.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got to do your homework.
You have to, once you've done the homework, you have to go back. I'm pretty sure everybody on this call had buyers at one point or another that said, I'm bowing out of the market. Mm-hmm. Go back and explain, especially if they were bowing out of the market due to they didn't want to compete. They didn't have the money to pay $20,000 cash of appraised value or 50 or whatever it was. Call them back and tell them, look, this is the market right now where that's not happening. Mm-hmm. They were willing to, which is why we know that we shifted. The moment that the buyers said, we are no longer going to pay, right? We're no longer now going to pay above appraised value. We are no longer going to waive inspection appraisal contingencies, walk in with whatever.
Yeah, we're done with that.
That's the day that it officially just went and then shifted.
The motivation shifted. Because when the buyer looks at what's going on in the economy, and get ready, because in 2 days at 8:30 in the morning, the economy report is going to come out, and the GDP, we're all expecting to be low again. And if the GDP is in the negative for the second quarter in a row, there's going to be the next word is recession.
Yep.
That's going to be the buzzword. By 8:45 a.m. on Thursday, that's going to be the buzzword. And that's what they're going to be hearing in the news and all of that. So it is super duper important for you to be ahead of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
A recession in our economy is not going to constitute a crash in real estate. Number one, we're not a rocket ship. We don't crash.
No.
We move, we fluctuate.
Correct.
We're like the ocean. We're ever evolving. Yeah.
The roller coaster.
Yeah.
We're up and then we're down. We're up and we're down.
On Friday, there's an amazing article on the Florida Association of Realtors. On Friday, the National Association of Realtors economist, Lawrence Yun, stood in front of Congress and told Congress, yeah, it ain't happening in real estate. Like, we're not seeing any, prices are not going to crash. We're not going down. You can have your recession all you want, but real estate is so not going to be affected by this. Correct. So go read that article and then find a way to simplify that for your consumer. Because simplify. We can talk GDP all day, you know, between us agents, but they cannot, the consumer doesn't understand that.
No,
they don't understand that. And it's super important that right now in this market and the market that's coming, you are working with the buyer that is willing, with the motivated. So in your buyer consultation or your qualifying questions consultation, you need to be asking tons and tons of questions. Mm-hmm. Because if they're not willing, forget it. You're going to waste your time.
Correct. They have to be willing to do all that's needed, which of course takes you to page 173 of the shift book, right? Creating or understanding urgency. Mm-hmm. And so there has to be some sort of urgency, which is another word, I guess, for willing. And there needs to be a reason why they are purchasing, and that reason needs to be more than just the interest rates, mm-hmm. or because
life happens.
Yeah. Life
is going to continue to happen. And in any market, we're always going to see houses selling and people buying houses. Mm-hmm. We're never going to see the market at zero, hopefully, right? Hopefully we'll never see that in our existence.
Correct.
Because life happens and people get divorced and people die and people have babies and they are empty nesters and they want to downsize or upsize or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Life changes and we have to be there in front of our clients when their lives are changing, which is why it's so important that now more than ever, you are in front of your consumer. And Gary has been telling us, if you're lead generating 2 hours a day, you got to lead generate 4, because it's going to take you double, triple, quadruple the time to find the motivated buyer or the motivated seller in a shifted market.
Yeah, it's going to take more leads to find that motivated. So that's why you have to basically, you're going to have to double down on it.
Yeah. And a strategy that I want to share with you guys, I encourage all of you, go look through your pipeline of buyers. Pipeline means future business. And go ask yourself, when will this buyer fall out of purchasing power when the interest rates hike?
Yep.
What's their ceiling? Is it 6%? Is it 5.5%? Is it 7%? Is it 10%? What is that ceiling for that buyer? So that buyer then becomes, instead of an A buyer, meaning they're going to transact in the next 15 days, then they become a C buyer. They're going to transact 90 days from now.
I would say not even that you're looking at your leads, mm-hmm. right? Which is your future business, but you need to be looking at the ones that you're currently working with right now.
Yeah. Not under contract, because, I mean, check those two.
Yeah, check those two. And the only reason that I say check those two is
Because we're expecting a hike next week.
Exactly. The interest rate's going to go up next week. If there's not if they don't declare a recession, so be prepared that some of those are going to, be out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you got to have the buyer able, right? Meaning they have the financial power to actually execute, ready, and willing. They have to be willing. That is the most important factor. Why do they want to move? And we talk about our whys a lot in Keller Williams, right? I mean, almost until we go kind of blue in the face, but it's for a reason. Because when we know people's motivations, we can help them self-discover quicker.
That's true. Yeah,
Right.
you're going to have to find workable ways. Also, we were having this conversation yesterday, where there's a lot of builders that have inventory now. Yep, I said it. Builders magically now have inventory.
I get an email every day from builder. Hey, it's 4% commission. Blah, 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 in thousands of dollars of bonuses for the agent. I'm like, now you need us.
Now
right?
you need us, right? You didn't mind cutting our
Yeah.
commission down
Yes.
to $7,000 only.
0.75%. Lenore.
But now,
I'm throwing their mother under the bus.
I didn't say the name, she did.
Yeah, I did.
Anyway, so when you're looking, when
You're the only one.
when you get those, there are incentives that those builders are now even throwing out for the buyers because they're sitting on inventory.
Yes.
They are buying down points
Points.
for your buyers. They are offering to lock the rates for your buyers for the next 90 days or so.
And that tells me that if the builders are already starting to do this, so do we as listing agents.
That's why it's part of the listing, right? Agreement.
Absolutely.
The section where it says, is your seller willing to pay any points down?
That is a conversation that you need to be having with sellers in this market. Absolutely, because we're going to have to get very creative.
Yep.
The only thing that doesn't shift in a shift, guys, it's your values. Your values don't shift in a shift. The way you do business has to shift, because the way you have been doing business, especially in the last 2 years, is not going to get you through these next few months that are coming. And the industry is actually expecting for 48% of agents to fall out of the industry in the next 12 months. And we don't want you guys to be part of that at all. We want you guys to be the ones that stay and still keep being the leaders in our industry.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. And to do that, we have to work hard and
absolutely. And I want to also mention something important, because we talk about buyer reluctance and we're always thinking the buyer has all these limiting beliefs. But we have limiting beliefs as
Tell me
agents,
about that.
right? We have to be very careful, because I believe words matter, right? And the way we present information matters. And we have to be very, very careful when we're talking to our clients and not use words like crash, not use words like, oh yeah, the prices are going to go down significantly, because that is not true. That is not based on the facts. The National Association of Realtors is forecasting that in 2023, existing homes are going to appreciate 4%, and new homes are going to appreciate 3%. So if buyers are not buying today, chances are that they're going to buy more expensive in the coming months. So today's the day that they can buy at the lowest price and get the best deal possible.
Correct.
All right. So be careful about how you're presenting the information and the words that are coming out of your mouth, because sometimes we're the first ones to create the panic. And we're not here to create panic as professionals. We are here to soothe and be the economist of choice and make their lives easier.
So what you're saying is, when we're creating urgency, it's urgency, but not panic mode.
It's not like, oh my God, you're gonna buy today. No, it's not that.
So yeah, so there is an urgency, and you're absolutely right. There is an urgency. The urgency would be, yes, the interest rates are going to go up and you can get a better deal right now. Take advantage of any of the deals that any of the new construction builders are offering you. Oh yeah, by the way, that's kind of like a script. And so that's what you're going to have those type of conversations with them. And the only way to have those type of conversations is that you have to be informed. You need to know, which is why we keep quoting numbers and statistics, and we keep going back to the source, because you said it doesn't really sometimes make it true. You're going to have to quote the source.
Like Facebook, not a source.
No, not a source. The National Association of Realtors.
Business Insider, not a source.
No, Florida Realtors,
A source.
a source. The U.S. government, the housing department,
A
the
source.
economist for the National Association of Realtors.
Lawrence Young, a
Yep.
source.
So all of those is what you are going to turn around and you're going to use in those scripts when you are having the conversations. And remember, scripts are just conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're leaders, right? And our job as leaders and all of your jobs as leaders in this industry is to help people think in a different way. And when you present facts, it's very, very difficult to argue with facts.
Correct.
Just saying.
Mhm.
Because it's not about the feelings. It's about what's going on. It's about the facts of the industry.
So I would like to know how everybody on this call right now is thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I like that.
like where are you guys' mind at in reference to the market, in reference to your clients? Where are we at?
And the limiting beliefs. What are the
Yeah.
limiting beliefs that you have around this?
Now the FHAs and VAs are going to receive the attention that they didn't receive before. Now they are accepting FHA well pre-qualified, you know, because people now have the opportunity to not a small amount because they don't have money to pay overpriced properties. Now it's this well pre-qualified, a VA loan or FHA loan, they are going to receive the attention that we need.
Correct.
Thank God.
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right.
Thank God. Who else?
Who else?
Who else what are your thoughts about the current market and your limiting beliefs as an agent running your business as well?
Hey, it's me, Liliana Gonzalez.
Hi,
I think right now, I'm excited about the buyers actually, because I feel like they have a better opportunity, a better chance to be in the game. And also, especially the cash buyers. Now they have more power to their cash than ever because they don't have any other, more competitors, and they can also, offer below price. And I think they have a better chance to getting the deal accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited. I have a couple of leads that are cash, and I can't wait to tell them about, the market, and, summertime especially is really great for them because they don't have.
I can feel your excitement through the show.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, how are you going to convey that excitement to your consumer?
Yeah, just the way I'm telling you right now. Yeah, that's how I'm going to present it to them. Actually, this morning I had a previous buyer, and they gave me a lead, and it's going to be a cash buyer. So I can't wait to talk to them today, hopefully, and let them know what's going on here in Florida, and how they can be getting their offers accepted a little bit easier. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I have Bryant on the chat that says, I need to dive into stats and dialogues with a bit more gusto.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that. And that is so true. Absolutely. Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
All these buyers on their contract quick.
I have a quick thing to mention as well. I recently, I think it was last month, RPR, they have a new tab that's called Market Trends. So it makes it so much easier to find the information. So when you're actually searching for the specific property, you can see everything, like the months of supply, of inventory, lease to sold price, everything. So it's beautiful.
So how are you going to use that?
Thank you for that.
Same way. Whenever we're, trying to figure out a price for the property and, to make an offer, I can present all this information to the buyer, or, depending on who I'm working with.
Absolutely. That's our
Excellent.
girl. Good
Yep.
job.
Good job.
We're so proud of you there.
Mabel, we got a question in the chat that says, well, somebody had said that one of the things they're looking at is having deals fall due to appraisal. Anything you can say about that?
We can say a lot about that. Let's start at the beginning. As buyer's agents, you got to do your comps.
We're no longer in that market where you tell your buyer the seller is demanding this, and that's what you have to offer.
Yeah. Well, it depends where you're at, right? But yeah, mainly that's a good average generalization. Now, as buyers agents, it is also our duty to see, right, the comps. What have sold before, etc. In this market today, looking at comps from 90 days ago, like you're wasting your time.
Right.
You got to literally start looking at comps from a week ago. What sold last week? What went pending last week? If it went pending, did it have a price decrease the moment it went pending? These are the little things you need to be looking at, right? If you can find it a week, then go 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you get the gist, right?
Yep.
So make sure that your buyer is offering the right value, the right price for the home, because listing agents still have not figured this out. There's still tons of listing agents out there that think that we are in the market of 90 days ago.
Hence the 1,000 houses that dropped their price in the last 7 days.
And they're like, well, what's going on? Well, what do you mean what's going on? It's a shift. Welcome. Right?
Well, it's reality. It's not that it's a shift. It's you overpriced it to begin with without even looking at everything. And you told your seller that that's what they would get, or you allowed the seller to dictate. What you need to do is now go back. So I would probably say, if you're representing the buyer side, right, you should always have an appraisal contingency in order to pull, especially if you're doing a conventional. And then you have to have the conversation with the listing agent. Is your seller going to drop the prices? One way to definitely know those things is what you were just saying. You need to look at the pendings. You need to look at the solds. Start with the solds. You need to look at the pendings that drop their prices, but also pay attention to the actives.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
To the actives. Call if there are pendings, especially if you're about to take on a listing too. You need to call those listing agents and say, have you already had your appraisal done? Are you having any issues with the appraisal? On the actives, you should be asking, have you had any showings? Have you had any offers?
Activities.
Any activity? And then you need to be comparing apples to apples, not oranges to apples. Because just because that one sold for $1 million doesn't mean that yours is going to sell for $1 million if it has a couple of different things. Correct. Because we're going right back to that scenario.
This is what we like calling we are in a beauty contest market.
Yep.
Now it's going to become about what's the prettiest house, right? What's the house with the best features at the lowest price? Because if my house has the white kitchen and I'm priced at $600 and Mabel's house has just a regular kitchen priced at $600, guess which house they're gonna buy?
Mabel's.
the trendy white one.
Buy the trendy house, okay?
I don't know. I'm gonna try and beat her up on price and see if I can get that price lower.
True. There you go. Yes, you would.
Exactly. Or you'll negotiate her, right?
Yep.
You'll negotiate her down because they're gonna see, and we all know that 94% of our country is obsessed with real estate. And the reason we have the statistic is because HGTV, thank you very much. They are obsessed with real estate. So when they go into buying a house, they find the house before you find the house most of the time because they're looking at it 24/7, right? And they're constantly comparing this house with the next house and this one sold for this. They know, like our buyers today, most of them are savvy buyers. We're not dealing with dumb people. We're dealing with smart people. Yeah. And they know that the value from her house is going to be different than mine because mine looks prettier.
Yep. That's
how they determine that. So it is the beauty contest of real estate right this minute. And we will be there for a few more months. So super important that's a seller conversation. That's a conversation to have with the seller.
Yep. Did we answer that for you, Ariel? And I'm hoping that you're telling me that you're on the buyer side so that you can go back to the seller and just be like, yeah, you got to drop your price.
But always protect them with the appraisal contingency and always do your due diligence, do your homework and know exactly where you should be putting this offer at. I called the listing agent the other day. I have a buyer that thankfully we went under contract this weekend and I couldn't find the comps. And dude, like comps are my jam. Like I'm good at that. And I called the listing agent. I was like, can you send me your comps? Can you send me the comps that you used?
And that wouldn't offend me if you called and asked me that, but apparently it offends other people. But that wouldn't offend me.
No, it wouldn't offend me
my comps.
Absolutely, because we know. But I offended her. She's like, you can go on the MLS and look for the comps for the last 90 days.
Wow.
And I had to swallow hard And I said, you don't realize the market changed 8 weeks ago, right? You cannot use comps from 90 days ago.
And she stayed quiet.
So I didn't put the offer. I went back to my buyer and I guided my buyer through that, right? I said, how much do you want this house? Because it's not about me. How much do you want it? I mean, I like it, but I don't love it. Then we don't need to be putting an offer.
There you
Because
go.
we have more inventory coming up. We already know that the seller is overpriced. I already know as an agent that I'm going to have to carry that transaction, right? Because the listing agent doesn't know what they're doing. They're still getting paid. Well, I'm going to do the whole thing.
Yep.
Right? So you got to ask the questions, don't be afraid of calling other agents. Other agents, if you were to call any one of us, we'll be all like, yeah, this is our comps, we'll send it to you. We'll probably coach you on it. That's just our nature. I know.
No, we wouldn't.
We would.
Yeah. Yes, we would.
Yeah, we would. Totally. But it's important for you to have those conversations. And on the active listings, absolutely the conversation is, tell me, how many showings have you gotten?
Mm-hmm.
How many offers have you gotten already? And most of the time you're going to hear, well, I know that I'm a little overpriced because a good listing agent knows. And, I'm just letting it go so that the seller kind of hits himself through that wall and then we're going to price drop.
Because
right?
that does happen.
Oh my God, that happens a lot.
You have
And
to
that's
educate.
okay.
You try as a listing agent to educate the seller. The seller wants to stick to their guns, but then you have the conversation. We're going to give the feedback to you of what all of the other agents are stating. And so if all of the agents are telling us that we're overpriced, then guess what? Because the market dictates it, right? The buyers dictate it.
But buyer's reluctance, it really, really comes down to how to energizing the buyer. You got to look at it from that point, right? You energize people when you present opportunities. You energize people when you bring them back to their why. Why is it important to buy a house? For most people, that's a big deal because buying a house is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us still don't see it that way because that's our job, right? That's what we do day in and day out. But for the consumer and our client, that is a big deal. It's full of emotion. It's full of anxieties. And our job is to take that away so that they have the most pleasant experience throughout. In this market, as you go under contract with a buyer, it is imperative that you are communicating with your buyer almost on a daily basis because they are hearing. Remember, we have to help understand what they're seeing and help them understand what they don't see. They are hearing the interest rates are going up and there's going to be doubt in their head. Oh my God, is that going to affect my loan?
Yeah.
Is my interest rate going to go up? They don't know that they can lock down the rate. They don't know that they can buy points. So it is our job and, in partnership with the lender, obviously in the transaction, to guide them through that. Right. And so that they can close and they're excited at closing. So they give you the referral.
Yep. So there's 3 ways, right, to energize your buyers.
Yep.
On page 178 of the shit book.
Economist of choice.
Of course, know your stats, know your numbers.
With gusto.
Yep.
I'm still going to steal that, Brian.
Yeah. Help them tap into their big why. You just said it. What's motivating them to buy? What's important to them in reference to that? And then, of course, the next one, which is address the buyer's reluctance.
Yep. Present the opportunities.
Yep. Present the opportunities and why are we worried?
And be careful, right? Like, don't be telling people, oh my God, you're wrong. Like, don't say that. Be empathetic. I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, what you're saying. And these are the opportunities that we have today for your family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? People don't like to be told that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to love on people and know your numbers because we know that the facts cannot be argued against. What's going on in the room? Where are our heads at? Talk to us.
Fantasy land is over.
Yes, fantasy land is over. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Becky, you should always stitch together.
Thank you.
Got that a lot. But we do love each other. Like,
Yes, we do.
Like seriously. You should hear our conversations at 9:00 at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the market.
What else? What else do we see? Or what are we feeling?
Yeah, what are we feeling? Because it's important for you guys as business owners to have your mind straight about where we're heading. Remember, if you're a single agent in this call, you need to have 55% profitability in your business. If you don't have 55% profitability in your business, you need to hire a coach yesterday. You're late. If you're a team or a rainmaker, your team should be at 40% profitability. The only way to ensure your profitability in the next 9 to 18 months is going to be by reducing expenses and doubling down on your lead gen.
That bad word that you just said.
I know, it kind of made me puke a little. I don't even like it. I don't like, literally guys, like I have a post-it on my phone that says, how are you going to help people today? Because in my mind, that works. Because I'm all about helping the people. As most of you are, I'm sure. Right?
It makes it easier.
So just whatever story in your head, go back to how can I help someone make the biggest financial decision of their life and guide them through this process with amazing energy and the right information, because that's the most important thing.
So go back to the profitability really quickly.
Yeah.
Because
I love that.
I think we pretty much have the most of the agents that we coach kind of like, I don't know, scared to spend even a penny. Because you know, until you're making money, you shouldn't be spending money. So
well, that's what Gary talks about in MREA. You lead with revenue.
Hi, Ms. Dora.
Hi, Dora.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good and you?
Good. I know that this is a lot of conversation, which is great conversation for agents, but I'm going to be selfish as the market center tech trainer in my office and ask.
I love tech trainers.
Yeah,
they're my
thank
favorite
you.
people.
Thank you. We love Mabel, and I didn't know that you had a dynamic duo like this. You should bring it to the office. So
She's coming with me next time I'm there.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, hello. Anyway, so what would be the number one thing that you would tell leadership that they should take back to their agents? Like so for me, like, what would be something I could do to take back to my agents? That would be like the number one thing to start.
So as the MCTT, my first thing would be make sure their listing presentation or their buyer presentation are up to date, that they know how to access that and they know how to quickly edit it so that it reflects the market of today.
Yep.
As an ex-team leader, I would totally appreciate that.
I'm also an ex-team leader, so yes.
And I would say that if you have a listing going off of the listing presentation and the buyer consultation, do the statistics for today for this market and what you are going to be doing for them reflect. Everybody has still their old listing presentation from years ago. That's good bones. No doubt, but you're going to have to go in there and adjust it because people's needs have changed.
Yeah.
And what you bring
motivation,
to the table,
right? The motivation has shifted. So as an MCTT, I will definitely lead them there, to having their presentation set. If I were to go a step further, and this is like the dream world of ATL, right? Have it ready and just print it out for them. And if they want to customize it, then that's on them. But have something for them that reflects the market of today and have it ready for them, because that's going to be a huge value. And we're actually in our coaching program, we're working through that, building a buyer presentation and the listing presentation to the market of today. And that's a tool that we're going to give our agents come August as they enroll in the program and the ones that are already there, so that they can just download, plug and play.
Yeah.
Download and use it. And we're going to give that goes with that presentation.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to be spending hours and hours trying to do this, and they're going to be like, well, I need to get this done. You told me. And I'm like, no, you need to lead generate. Then this can come next.
But in their head, sitting down, making flyers and building the list presentation is work.
Yeah. I would rather have
not necessarily work.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And thank you for all you do for your service as an MCTT.
There's a bunch of us on here, so yes.
Yeah, I love my MCTTs. You guys are awesome. Makes our lives so much easier.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else? What else is going on through your head right now? What are the limiting beliefs that are popping up as we're talking about the numbers and the market and buyer reluctance? What's going on?
And I'd like to know action plans. Who's already come up with an action plan that they are going to go and do once you finish this class right now, right? Because Gary says, if you don't do it immediately within 24 hours, then forget it. It's not gonna
You
be done.
learn for the sake of doing.
Yep.
$7.
Vinny, you're off mute. Tell me.
So I believe that educating our clients is going to be the most important part of this next transition. Okay, having the hard conversations right up front, putting the numbers in front of them, like you guys said, get the statistics, because that's what it really is. It's more of this is our reality now. Okay, we were spoiled little brats for the last few years. Some of us took advantage of it, 2.75 fixed, right? Some of us refied even lower than that, during the epic moments. And yet when we look over the history and the course of it, I mean, I bought my first house at 7.25 in the 90s, right? And there are people that bought at 16, 17, and 18% in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So historically, and I just checked, I send bank rate updates to a lot of my clients just to let them know, hey, have a conversation with your lender, and be ready to lock in the rate. Make sure that you know how long you can lock it in for. And I keep an eye on it every day. And I mean, we're still sub 6. We've been sub 6 all week. And so we're good, and we're sitting there. And I'm not scared what's going to happen in 2 days, because no matter what, we're going to bounce. And, and then those of us who know what to focus on and to develop the relationships, we're going to be just fine. So
Absolutely.
Educate your people, have the tough conversations up front, get to your bottom line motivation, and make sure that all of those things are out of the way and there are no surprises.
Exactly. And the truth of the matter is that we're going to pre-pandemic levels. We're back to normal.
Yeah, I looked at the numbers.
Yeah.
Most of us have the same exact inventory that we had in 2019.
Yep.
Exactly.
And apparently everybody was happy in 2019. I didn't hear anybody.
Well, they were giving $50,000 over appraised value. They were happy and money happy.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Vinny.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Anything that you guys want to, that you're not understanding, that you guys want explained or go over? Did we state everything that you guys were hoping to hear during this? Or maybe you just came in without even knowing what to expect, right?
Yeah.
It's buyer reluctance. I don't know what I'm supposed to expect.
We're two crazy women.
Nobody?
Nobody? Awesome. So
right, then we're going to keep talking about what we want to talk about then.
I wanna leave you with a system because that's how we roll.
Yep.
And we're a company of systems and we like systems. Building buyer urgency. This is shift page 195. Is number 1, expert knowledge of the market. Number 2, careful consultations on their personal wants and needs.
So you mean hold a buyer consultation? Oh, okay.
And sign the buyer agreement.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Difficult.
so difficult. Number 3, skill at communicating the opportunities of the market. And number 4, assertiveness in challenging their thinking. And before you do that, you got to challenge yours. So how are you challenging your thinking today? Change the way you look at things. Can someone finish that sentence for me?
And the way you look and what you look at changes.
The way things you look at will change. Creating urgency is a learned skill. And you've heard this. The market that's coming, the market that we're in is the market of the skilled agent. Get good. And the only way to polish your skills is to practice. I know it's also a bad word.
Wait, what? Practice scripts, you mean?
Yeah.
Practice conversations, because we changed that word because everybody hates
Yeah.
scripts.
Conversations. Yeah. My children can talk to you about the market like no other, because that's who I practice with.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids are not little anymore either. So they're already like, what? I need money to buy houses. You know?
Exactly. Gotta make money.
But have the conversations, right? Use your friends' houses to practice your CMAs, because that is a skill, 100% a skill, right? Also present the opportunities. The other day I posted on social media, 1,137 homes in Central Florida have had a price decrease. If you want that list, text me. I got 3 texts.
And that could be the same for your referral partners, because the majority of us live in areas where
Correct.
we get lots of people that move here and relocate to the beautiful sunny Florida, right? And
Absolutely.
so, hey, do you have any buyers that maybe are on the fence of moving into Florida? Well, let me tell you right now, this is what's going on. We have
Mhm.
more inventory and we have a decrease in prices.
Correct. You got to talk to your referral partners every month. Every month, when the stats come out, you're sending a video. And send a video, because through video, people build trust and connection a little better than just an email with a newsletter and a pretty picture. Differentiate yourself. Be unique, right? And that same video, you can actually also send it to your people, except you're going to have to simplify it for the consumer, for your database, because the way you speak to an agent, it's different than the way you're going to speak to your consumer.
Correct.
All right. And if any of you are going to Mega Camp, shameless plug, we are having an amazing activity at Mega Camp for our Hispanic agents. Send them our way. It's on the 22nd. And for 2 days, we are going to be sitting with the most influential leader in real estate, which, surprise, it's Gary Keller, where he's going to be only talking about the shift. Him, Jay, Jason, and Mark, all they're going to talk about is the shift and empower us to get the strategy. So if you're not coming to Austin, get on the virtual.
Digital.
Yeah, do the digital one, because it's going to be amazing. And if you're coming to Austin, call us, because we'll go for a drink.
Yep, definitely.
We like to eat.
Yep, we do. So I think Ryan is probably going to kick us off in a
Yeah,
moment now,
I-
right, Ryan?
I'm not going to kick you off yet. I'm actually going to bring up the fact that a lot of what you're talking about just shows you guys, you got market center tech trainers in pretty much almost all of your market centers, and they are a resource to you. They can show you how Command actually does have systems and models in there that you can follow. And they also have a lot of value in there that you could use to be touching on your clients. And if you think that I hear this all the time, a lot of agents are like, oh, Command doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It's got too many problems. Guess what?
That's a limited belief.
Different than what you thought it was a long time ago. Because most of the time when people say that, that's because they got on it 2 years ago or 3 years ago when we were still working through some problems. Guess what? All those people who stayed with the course and worked through it, we fixed a lot of those problems for you. So thank you to those who stuck through it, and those who didn't stick through it. It's time to get back on there, because guess what? It's time to cut costs, and this is an easy way to cut costs. Because
if you can handle this, you can handle Command.
Man.
oh yeah. Not only that, we've got a lot of the stuff that a lot of these big name CRMs that cost a lot of money have in there. One of the most recent things we just added in there is your website has the ability now to lead capture. You before could have them log in, but now it will only let them, depending upon what you tell it, how many times they can look at a property, and then it will force them to register. So that's another form of lead generation. I used to use that all the time when I was looking for buyers. I'd put a listing out on Facebook, and then they click on it and they look at a couple properties, and then it lead capture them. So that's one way to grab leads. Utilize
Those
it.
videos that I talk about to send to your referral partners or your database, I create those in Command, because I can embed a YouTube video on my email.
Yep.
For this, on my design emails.
You got 36 touches in there. There's a 36 touch smart plan in the smart plan library. Go grab it, play with it, use it.
Yeah.
Make it your own. You can edit it. And if you don't know how to do this stuff, that's why your market center tech trainers are there. They've got one-on-ones. They've got classes they're teaching in the market center. They've got open space on their calendar where they're just teaching whatever you want. So reach out to them.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And remember that the technology is here to make our lives easier. It is not here to substitute the relationship. It's here to enhance it.
Correct.
So use it, because it's going to make your life so much easier. Last year, I presented 20 offers to a seller, and I used the Command way of presenting the offers. And my sellers were so impressed by how professional and clean it looked. Command makes you look good. Just get to know how to use it. And like everything is practice. Just practice.
You and your trainers should be like this.
Yes, that's like your person.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the issue people have with it is just the fact that they're scared of what they don't understand. So take some time to get to understand it. And
no one grows in their comfort zone either.
No.
when I rent a car, when I get in that car, it's very uncomfortable for the first at least hour of driving that car. Once I figure out where everything's at, I'm good. And then when I go get back in my car is awkward again.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
And you start thinking, man, I missed that other car. My car doesn't have everything that other car. Yeah.
But and I'm gonna leave you with this question for food for thought for all of our people here today, all of our KW family in the South Florida region. Where else is it showing up in your life that you are not learning something or doing something because it is out of your comfort zone? Because I am going to challenge you to look at that as money that you're leaving on the table. Where else is that behavior showing up?
She loves doing these mic drops
I know.
right before we leave.
Yeah, see you later. Bye.
All right. Are you kicking us off now?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
No, I'm not going to kick you off because here's why. If you want more of these guys, you're not going to miss out because they'll be back at 3 o'clock to do the Spanish version. Hear it all again in just a different language. So come back at 3 o'clock and hear them speak again. We're going to take a break because we're going to take a lunch. You do not have to log off. In fact, we ask that you probably not log off because what I've learned is when you guys log off, you forget to log back on and then you miss out on all this great material. So just stay logged on. We'll put some music on. So if you want some music in the background, we're going to go eat. And our Market Center Tech Trainers have a meeting to go to. So we'll go to our meeting and we'll come back and we'll see you guys with Chaz Bradley. Because guess what? This is the best thing to do. Why come back from lunch and then be like, blah? Instead, you're going to have somebody with a ton of energy ready to go. And what I'm asking is when you come back at 1 o'clock, please have your camera on. Just like I asked you guys in here. It is a huge difference. As an instructor, these guys do an amazing job. But it is so much easier when you come to these calls and you guys have your cameras on and we can actually see you as people. I was talking earlier about that emotional proximity. Face-to-face interaction is so much better. When you have your cameras off, it's like I'm sending an email out there into the world. I don't know if it's getting read or not. So please keep your camera on so we know that our message is being read and that we're actually talking to real people. Okay. Then after Chaz comes on after lunch, we're also going to have Nordis. Nordis is going to talk to you about remargining your business and expense management. Very similar to what we were talking about a little bit here. So that's going to be a fun class. And your MCTTs are not part of that expense that we need to cut. We need our MCTTs. They're here to teach you, just like we need you agents because we need to sell homes.
Yes.
And then you'll be followed up with these two right here who are going to round us out and give us this Spanish version of what is it you're going to teach in that Spanish version?
Same
thing.
Same thing right here.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
in a different
So
language.
here's a tip for you guys. If you guys know anybody who is a Spanish speaking agent and they would benefit from this, please take your lunch break and go call them. Even if they're not with Keller Williams, go call them. Tell them to come on this call. You think it'll be of value to them. And then continue to follow up with them and ask them what they thought about that call and ask them if they'd be interested in getting on any other calls and start inviting them more. You can add them to your downline, guys. Use this
Definitely.
advantage.
Thank you all for having us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one and enjoy your lunch.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye. Have a great day.
You.
Bye.